So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you how you're going to close those gaps, work one long row across everything, and neaten up your fabric. With my technique, when I come to the stitch before my gap, I make sure that when my stitch was slipped, the right leg is in the front. Also, when I do this next step, which is to take the tip of my right needle, grab the stitch from the row below that is wrapped around my end stitch, put it up onto the left needle together with my end stitch, and knit them as normal together as though they're one stitch. You're going to end up with a little bit of a stretch there that will come out when you block, and you just knit on from there. With the Japanese short row, it's a little bit different. You're going to go ahead and knit your end stitch, making sure that you're knitting the right leg first. And then you're going to take your little hooky marker and put that loop up onto your left needle. You're going to, come on there, yarn. You're going to work it together with the next stitch as though they're one. And I'll show you that one more time. Work the stitch before the gap. Here, notice I'm knitting through the back of the loop because I want to knit the right leg of the stitch. No matter whether the right leg of the stitch is in the front or in the back. Next, I'm going to take that marker, pull that up onto my left needle, and remove the marker. Get my working yarn in the back again, and work these two together as though they're one stitch. Now with the wrap and turn, it's also a bit fussy. You come to your stitch that is wrapped. See how this goes around the back of the stitch. Slip the stitch to your right needle, use the tip of your left needle to pick up that loop, that wrap, and put it up onto your left needle, that would be. And now put your stitch up there with it. I like to change the orientation of this so that the right leg is in front. That's your wrap loop. Knit the two together as though they're one stitch. And then finish your row. Now they all give a pretty nice finish to the short row. It's just a matter of what is the easiest method to do. Let me just purl back so you can see that fabric once the short rows are worked into the fabric, not hanging off of the needles. And again, all of them work nicely. I find the wrap and turn is a fussy pain in the bottom. It's not as nice a finish as the Japanese short rows, but the Japanese short rows also are a little bit of a pain in the bottom, and they leave a visible mark on the back of your fabric. If you are not at all fussy about that, then that's not a bad thing. But if that's going to bug you, then you might want to use my method, which is easier to do and doesn't leave loops on the back of your fabric. So, looking here at the front side, we have my short row, which happens right here. We have the Japanese short row, which happens here and here. And then we have the wrap and turn that happens here. All of them give you a nice finish. Mine, I think, is just far easier to do. And to show you mine one more time, you just knit to where you are meant to stop. I'm just going to go one stitch beyond where I went last time. Knit to where you're meant to stop, turn, slip that first stitch purlwise, count it as part of your stitch count. When it's time to work that stitch in, you're going to knit to one stitch before your gap. Everybody's always afraid that they're going to miss where the gap is, but you can't possibly miss that huge gap. Pick this so that your right leg is in front. As you can see, it's not, so we turn it. Pick up the stitch below with the tip of your right needle, put that up so the right leg is in front, knit the two together as though they're one stitch, and knit on. It's really easy to do. You don't need to stop and fuss with coilless pins, and you don't need to stop and do the wrap and turn. All you need to do is just pick up that loop. And as I said, it looks a little bit funky there, but once it's blocked, that'll be absolutely perfect. You won't even see it. And so there you go. Those are my tips for how to do short rows.